The last time we had a total solar eclipse in this region was in 1925.
For the first time in almost 100 years, a total solar eclipse will be visible in Western New York. How are people preparing for it?
Every program at the university is going to have challenges.
Last week, Sbu-Tv had the chance to speak with esteemed alumni Adrian Wojnarowski about the university's declined bid into the NIT tournament. This month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. See how Empower is educating and advocating for assault awareness. A cloudy and chilly weekend ahead. WKBW meteorologist Josh Nichols brings you the weekend weather. Sbu-Tv starts now.
Happy April, everybody, and welcome to Sbu-Tv. I'm Louis Genovese.
And I'm Sydney Labieski, and we have a lot to unpack. And we have some exciting events coming up in these next few days, specifically the solar eclipse. And it's just a few days away. This week, our Anthony Da Silva talks to SBU physics professor about what makes the eclipse so special.
On Monday, April 8th, a total solar eclipse can be seen across parts of Western New York. And it's been 99 years since the last total solar eclipse was seen in this area.
The last time we had a total solar eclipse in this region was in 1925, and the next time we will have a total solar eclipse in this region is in 2079.
A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly in front of the sun, completely covering up the sun and casting a shadow on Earth. This is called the path of totality.
If you are in the right region, you're going to be in total shadow of the moon. So you can actually see the moon completely cover the sun.
And right before the eclipse reaches totality, the diamond ring effect happens,
where light from the sun is going through valleys on the moon, and it produces this little light show, and then it goes completely dark.
St. Bonaventure is on the edge of the path of totality, but is expected to see the total solar eclipse. The eclipse will begin at 2:04 p.m. and will reach full coverage at 3:20 and end at 4:32. And if people want to get a better view of the eclipse, Buffalo and Rochester are expected to see over 3 minutes of totality. And this is because
Buffalo is like right in the middle of the shadow zone, right? Whereas if you go toward Allegheny, you're getting further away from the central part of the shadow.
And people not along the path of totality will still see a partial eclipse, and that is when part of the moon is covering up the sun. And remember, when viewing the eclipse, wear some form of approved eye protection. And eclipse glasses are perfect because they are 100,000 times darker than normal sunglasses and made out of black polymer, which blocks out almost all visible light. From Sbu-Tv, I'm Anthony Da Silva.
And the St. Bonaventure Observatory will not be open for the eclipse, but the university will be hosting an eclipse watch party between Plasman Hall and the Human Building. And speaking of the eclipse, many people are wondering what the weather will be like on Eclipse Day. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast with WKBW meteorologist Josh Nichols.
Well, we've just about made it to the weekend, and the stage is set still for some unsettled weather. Your Saturday morning will still feature a few showers of both rain and wet snow. Some of the snow actually sticking to our higher elevations into the western and central southern tier. Chilly breezes will still be blowing, but as we look at that super 7-day forecast, again, the trend is a friendlier one. Saturday mostly cloudy at 46, but Sunday we're into the low 50s. Eclipse Day brings temperatures close to 60 degrees with at least some mid and high level clouds, and will stay into the 60s into the middle of next week.
This week I spoke with one of St. Bonaventure's most distinguished alumni about how the fan base is moving on after the recent events surrounding the NIT.
Every program at the university is going to have challenges, and people are going to question the handling of certain things. To me, it's how you react to it, how you respond, and then
St. Bonaventure graduate Adrian Wojnarowski has been a longtime supporter of his alma mater and says the fan base is a crucial part in the basketball team's success.
I think carries us is an alumni base, a fan base, a student body, a community that cares deeply about the program, the history of it.
But many of those fans, like Francis DeBari and Mike Lindsley, are still confused about the university declining an NIT bid.
Why would we decline a bid? Bonaventure has always been, as you can tell, a team that performs and goes well and does pretty good in the NIT tournament.
And then some people came at me and were like, "You're really that mad at the NIT?"
at this NIT thing, yeah, I'm upset at the NIT thing because the first thing that I thought of was how not Bonaventure this is. It's insane to think that it could just blow over, right?
I asked Adrian if this could affect donations to the university. He said after speaking with his alumni collective, Team Unfurl, that he has no concerns.
I talked to a lot of our folks who are involved with Team Unfurl and who donated and helped, and I sensed tremendous enthusiasm and a tremendous understanding of the need for it.
Adrian said tough choices are just a part of the business, but according to Dabari, that should discourage fans from supporting the program despite the bumps and bruises.
I think the most important thing right now is for everybody to band together and, to remember what the mission is here, and that's to be successful.
And just because there were a few disrespectful and not good decisions by higher ups in the program does not mean they should recant their fandom, recant how much they put into this team.
For Sbu-Tv, I'm Louis Genovese. Adrian helped organize Team Unfurl in 2023 to provide name, image, and likeness opportunities for men's basketball players.
In April is Autism Awareness Month, and according to the CDC, 1 in 36 children have been identified with autism spectrum disorder. And on campus, 4% of students identify as autistic. Next Tuesday, April 9th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Hall of Fame room, LuVR will be presented. The computer-generated three-dimensional videos can be interacted with by a person using electronic equipment. Martin Asulan and Anik Danyu are co-creators and directors of LuVR. And LuVR was created for audiences to experience the sensitivity of an autistic person, and it's also the first interactive VR that demonstrates what life is like living with autism.
Coming up, it's the end of an era for a local business in Olean. Find out just how impactful this business was for the community.
But first, before we leave you, we'll take a live look at downtown Olean, and it's still a little wet outside and traffic's picking up. And we'll be back after this.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility, and I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you!
The challenges our planet's animals are facing sometimes feel a bit heavy.
The animals haven't eaten in a day, 2 days, they haven't drank anything, they're cold, they're dehydrated.
But remember, there's good happening right now. At home.
All right, we were able to get into your unit and we have all 4 of your cats. So,
okay. And around the world for any animal, any disaster. Search ifa.org/disaster ready.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for? Welcome back to Sbu-Tv. 100 years is a long time to own a business, and after 110 years, a beloved staple is closing here in Olean. This week, our John East Washington spoke with the family owners of John Ash Cleaners to learn about the impact they've made on the community.
For 110 years, there has been a dry cleaners at 316 West State Street in Olean. Founded by John Ash around 1920, the Ash family has provided clothing services to the community. Ash's son, John J. Ash, continues to work at the store and has kept the business in the family.
Being a family business, the older ones took over. They did what they had to do. They improved things. They moved things along. They added things.
The Ash family announced they will be closing at the beginning of May. Peter Ash is John's nephew and says the community has been nothing but supportive over the decision.
We get cards and letters, and people say, we're sad to see you go, but good luck. Never a bitter word, just words of encouragement.
These aisles may look a little thin now, but the Ashes tell me that's because of a recent decline in dry cleaning.
We were shut down like initial stage of the pandemic. Then they started to loosen things up a little bit. It was real slow because, you know, your professionals weren't going into the office.
Although the Cleaners is closing, the Ash family sees the time they've been in business as an achievement and is hopeful for what the future holds.
And I think we did a pretty good job at what we did, and then just these past few weeks, people have come in and reinforced that.
For Sbu-Tv, I'm Janice Washington.
John Ash Cleaners is the only dry cleaners in Cattaraugus County and will be closing its door on May 1st.
And this month is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And at St. Bonaventure University, from 2020 to 2022, reported rape cases rose by 5, totaling 11 cases over 3 years. And 6 cases were reported in 2022. The Clery Act, which is a federal protection law, requires colleges and universities to release specific campus and crime statistics. You can find these stats by searching for the 2023 Annual Security and Fire Safety Report on the SBU website. And Empower is an on-campus group of peer educators that work to inform students about sexual assault, consent, and the definitions that surround those subjects. Specifically, the difference between sexual assault and sexual harassment.
Assault would be if you physically touched another person without their consent, whether that be fondling or groping, or obviously the severe forms like rape, or just other forms of assault. But harassment is more on the stalking or verbally harassing end. So it's more it's obviously not touching. So it's more verbal harassment.
And Bona students, look out for Winging It. It's an event that Empower will host in the Rathskeller on April 27th at 7:30. And their tagline is, you can wing a lot of things, but you can't wing consent.
This week, Jeffrey Canova had the opportunity to talk to a freshman prop for the Bonnie's men's rugby team, who tells us about his new journey toward becoming a dedicated bodybuilder wanting to represent St. Bonaventure.
Within the Bonnie's men's rugby team is a committed and disciplined freshman prop named Mikey Sears. 4 months into his new journey, Mikey is eager to compete in this year's Jim Mannion's NPC Pittsburgh Championship.
I want to represent my family, my friends, the people that believed in me, the people that really pushed me to be where I'm at now, and also coming to this school, everyone really having that faith in me is something I want to give in return.
Jim Mannion's amateur bodybuilding competition means a lot to Mikey. It's an opportunity for him to make history. Ranking within the top 2 in the competition would make Mikey the second youngest to win a national bodybuilding ticket.
And with that national ticket, I'm allowed to go somewhere nationally within the country to compete for my pro card. Now, there's only about 1,000 pro cards given out every year, so it's very difficult.
Yet, why did Mikey decide to get into bodybuilding?
Well, one of these days I sat down and I asked myself, what is my purpose? What do I really want to succeed in this world? And I told myself I want to do bodybuilding. I want to take it to the next level and I want to be a pro at it. And I told myself when I'm going to do that, I'm going to give it everything I got. Every single day I'm going to wake up, I'm going to eat the best, I'm going to train the hardest, I'm going to go to sleep saying I outworked everyone.
At a younger age, Mikey's father taught him everything about the importance of staying in shape by working out and maintaining a healthy diet through proper nutrition.
Well, it's a very strict diet, and it's not easy, and it's not fun, but a strict diet is what's going to be the best for bodybuilding or any type of health in general. So I'll start off the day with either omelets or grilled chicken, and I'll go out and throughout my day with smoothies and anything else.
Mikey has received tons of support from his family, but here at St. Bonaventure, it's the support from his rugby teammates that not only helped him, but better yet, pushed him to be the persistent student athlete that he is today.
The guy is relentless and he works so hard. The motivation is key because I'm always talking to him. I'm always like, you're not working hard enough. And even though he knows it's a joke, part of him deep down is like, well, maybe I'm not working hard enough, maybe I want to work harder.
Mikey believes that chasing our dreams and goals begins with finding a strong mindset from within us.
If you want to see growth, you have to see a part of you die. You have to see the bad habits of you stray away. You have to find that mindset inside of you. You have to find it from your heart, because that's where it's at. And once you can pull that out, run with it as far as you can.
For Sbu-Tv, I'm Jeffrey Canova.
Mikey will compete in the amateur bodybuilding competition on May 11th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And when we come back, we'll hear the story of a teacher with the opportunity of a lifetime at WrestleMania.
And now another look at downtown Olean. The skies looks like they're clearing up right now. It is 10:19, and we will be right back.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And welcome back to Sbu-Tv. WrestleMania is this weekend, and our Patrick Vogel talked with photographer Craig Melvin and a familiar face about the mania of the WWE's biggest event.
WrestleMania is this weekend, and photojournalist and SBU instructor Craig Melvin will be photographing the event. But how did he become a WWE photographer?
It was an old photographer I hired to replace me in 1990. He is now my boss at WWE, so he hired me back.
Photographing WrestleMania may seem straightforward, but what is it really like?
It's organized chaos. Anything could happen at any time.
Despite the chaos, a photographer must follow two rules.
To not be on television and try and make good pictures that tell the story.
Although rules must be followed, there are advantages to the position.
The insight we have into the matches and the talent, that we know things that no one else knows, so equates to better pictures.
We know what it's like as a photographer to go to WrestleMania, but what is it like for a wrestling fan?
It feels like a dream. I've kind of always wanted to do this. I always wanted to go to WrestleMania. Never got a chance. After 22 years, I finally get to go.
So, what is Louis most looking forward to?
Really just kind of like the whole feel of the experience, like it all just kind of boils into one.
And according to Louis, WrestleMania 40 is the place to be.
Great matches, great performances, knowing that this is when WWE pulls out all the stops, it's the place to go.
From Sbu-Tv, I'm Patrick Vogel.
And this year, WrestleMania will be held at the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia and will take place this Saturday and Sunday.
Spring weekend begins April 26th, and that means kickball and custom-made t-shirts. We spoke with senior Mitchell Wambach about spring weekend.
Spring weekend is one of my favorite weekends. I just wait, every September when that comes around. I'm just like, spring weekend is coming around. I'm just so excited. It's going to be a good time and a lot of fun with the friends. We got a good squad and good team, and we just have a lot of fun.
We took a look at the prices of getting t-shirts printed. Team Minor production was the cheapest shirt, coming in at $13. The next cheapest t-shirt was Studio 4 East. If you order from them before April 12th, shirts are $19.99. Schubert Enterprise is selling shirts for $20.68.
And did you know that professors often exchange their research at conferences all over the world? 3 of our very own had the opportunity to do so last week in New Orleans. Our Mackenzie Nolan looked into the research of Anna Bolshevitz.
Last week, St. Bonaventure University lecturer Anna Bolshevitz had the opportunity to present her research at the Academy of Business Research Conference in New Orleans alongside her 2 colleagues, Kimberly DeSimone and Heather Harris. 6 years of research, that's 2,190 days that Anna has spent conducting research on emerging communication challenges in higher education. She has found that consciousness and communication are the key ingredients to community and trust.
All I knew was things were less noisy. I knew that students weren't advocating for themselves like they once were. I knew that their sensory experience was way different. They had their earbuds in more frequently. They weren't exchanging in the hallways in between classes.
After she acknowledged this problem, she was inspired to find a solution. The solution, she says, starts by putting the screens away.
When we are in person together, we are naturally able to increase our emotional intelligence.
Anna wants to continue her research by working directly with her students, measuring what they're retaining by using her new teaching method that involves less screen time and more human interaction.
Whether that's just a simple trip to the grocery store versus having your groceries delivered, or conducting all of your banking online versus going into the bank. I get that they're convenient, but I think we need to pause and really think about what the future looks like and what that means for evolution.
For Sbu-Tv, I'm Mackenzie Nolan.
And Bolshevitz plans to continue this research over the summer, so she is prepared in the fall.
Coming up in sports, we took a look at a former Bonnie's journey to the Major League Rugby and a preview of Bonnie's lacrosse. Action this weekend.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Look at that, it's so sad.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Sbu-Tv Sports. I'm Anthony Da Silva. Let's get into your sports news this Friday morning. This past Sunday, St. Bonaventure alumni and first overall draft pick in the 2023 Major League Rugby Draft made his first career start with the Miami Sharks. Our Tyler White has more on his journey.
Ricky Rose, former Bonaventure men's rugby captain, made his first career start in Major League Rugby last Sunday facing off against the San Diego Legion. Rose was drafted first overall in the 2023 Major League Rugby draft, going to the newly created Miami Sharks. I sat down with Ricky to find out how playing in the big leagues compares to playing at the college level.
First thing you notice is the speed of the game. Everything's getting set early, the ball's moving quick, but the people are moving quick too. You're set in position and you're expecting the ball 2 to 3 times faster than you would in college.
Rose had a very impressive 4 years at St. Bonaventure, including captaining the team to winning its first national championship in 2021, and was voted to the All-American team in 2022. When asked how his time at Bonaventure helped him get to where he is today, he said,
So Bonnie's was that first step into kind of some elite play. I'm coming to Bonnie's with the coaching that we had and some of the teammates I had, just really, really good players, good coaching. It was like my first taste of like a competitive, performance-based athletic program.
That taste that Rose is talking about started right here on this field, hitting pads like this. From Sbu-Tv, I'm Tyler White.
Ricky is set to start in tomorrow's against fellow Bonaventure rugby alumni Cal Kiera and New England Free Jacks with the current men's rugby team in the attendance as they are set to compete in a tournament that the Free Jacks are hosting this weekend. More on that later in the show. The St. Bonaventure women's lacrosse team tallied their second in-conference road loss of the season on Saturday. Bonaventure fell to Richmond 17-9 to fall to 7-6 overall on the season and 3-2 in conference play. Tomorrow, the Bonnies look to improve their record as they host St. Joseph's University at noon, streaming on ESPN+. The St. Bonaventure men's lacrosse team hits the road this evening for a primetime showdown against High Point University. The Bonnies enter the matchup coming off a 19-8 defeat at the hands of A10 rival Richmond. Last game dropped Bonaventure to a 1-7 record on the season. The Bonnies hope to find their first road victory this season. For High Point, they hold a 6-5 record and are coming off a loss to St. Joe's. Both the Bonnies and the Panthers look to get back on track tonight at 7 p.m. from North Carolina. Catch the game on ESPN+. The Bonnies baseball team will play at home against the Dayton Flyers this weekend in a 3-game series as they look to put a winning streak together to start the A10 season. Bonaventure has been led by outfielder Adam Ranke, who's batting .311 on the season, and the pitching rotation is led by Michael Salina, who has an ERA of 4.23. The Bonnies haven't been playing well for the past several games as they lost their home opener to Lemoyne and their recent 3-game series to George Washington. The Bonnies look to rebound against the Flyers at Handler Park. The Bonnies look to take on St. Louis this weekend. The first game will be played on Saturday at 2 p.m. and on Sunday the two teams will be playing a doubleheader starting at 11 a.m. The Bonnies are currently 2-20 on the season and 1-8 in A10 play. That places them at the bottom of the A10. The Bonnies are also on a 6-game losing streak after losing to UMass last Saturday. The Bonnies look to get back on track with the win. Men's rugby heads to Massachusetts this weekend to compete in the Free Jacks Monumental Sevens tournament hosted by the New England Free Jacks. After competing in the Terrapin and Old Blue Sevens, the pack looks to continue their success on the pitch for the spring Sevens season. After the tournament ends, the Bonnies will still be represented when the Miami Sharks play the New England Free Jacks, where former Bonaventure players Ricky Rose and Kyle Kier reunite, but this time as opponents. Former Bonaventure coach Tui Osborne will be coaching for Miami. The Bonnies face Harvard University in the first round tomorrow at 7:42 a.m. The tournament will be streamed on YouTube. The Buffalo Bills have traded star wideout receiver Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. The Bills also added a 2024 6th-round pick and a 2025 5th-round pick in the package sent over to Houston. In return, Buffalo received a 2025 2nd-round pick in the deal, freeing up $19 million in cap space for 2025. The 2023 season saw Stephon Diggs record 8 touchdowns and over 1,100 receiving yards. After the 2024 season, Stephon Diggs will be a free agent as the Texans voided the remaining 3 years of his contract. It's an action-packed weekend for St. Bonaventure sports as the men's and women's track teams compete in the Colonial Relay in Williamsburg, Virginia on Friday and Saturday at 9 a.m. Men's tennis travels to face Army at West Point on Saturday at noon. And finally, the St. Bonaventure women's rugby team will be hosting 5 different collegiate rugby teams for the upcoming CRC qualifier this weekend, with kickoff starting at 2:30 p.m. That's all for sports this week. Stay updated with all Bonnie sports by following us on Sbu-Tv Sports on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Back over to you, Louie and Sydney.
And another light round of snow hit St. Bonaventure this week. Will we see more next week? Here's a final look at your weekend weather with WKBW meteorologist Josh Nichols.
Well, we've just about made it to the weekend, and the stage is set still for some unsettled weather. Your Saturday morning will still feature a few showers of both rain and wet snow. Some of the snow actually sticking to our higher elevations into the western and central southern tier. Chilly breezes will still be blowing, but as we look at that Super 7-day forecast, again, the trend is a friendlier one. Saturday mostly cloudy at 46, but Sunday we're into the low 50s. Eclipse Day brings temperatures close to 60 degrees with at least some mid and high level clouds, and will stay into the 60s into the middle of next week.
Well, Louis, I know I'm excited for Eclipse Day, but what are your plans to watch the solar eclipse?
Well, Sydney, I might be in Philadelphia for that, but I think I'll get the experience wherever I am.
That sounds so fun, and I still have no idea what I'm doing for the eclipse yet. But that's all we have today. From Sbu-Tv, I'm Sydney Labieski.
And I'm Louis Genovese. Have a safe weekend, everybody, and happy eclipse.